All right, boys and girls of all ages, over 18 of course, because that's how it goes on my fine, actually science-based channel. Today we're doing carnivore stories. Today we are hearing from the very famous Austrian carnivore, who has been quite active in the chat in recent weeks. It's good to see you, Austrian carnivore. It's good to put a face to the name. Tell us about yourself. Give us your story. Tell us how you found carnivore and all of that stuff. Go for your life.
Thanks. So my journey started pretty much when a certain event hit the world 2.5 years ago. I won't go into details about that, but my field of working source, I'm pretty much doing desktop jobs. So I was bound. It was a curse and a blessing for 2.5 years to have home office. The good parts were I didn't have to see people because I have suffered from social anxiety and depression pretty much half of my life since I would say since I was 16 to 18 years old. And that drove me more and more into the gaming industry because it was an escape tool from reality. So I did what most people did during the journey of having home office all the time. I ordered more junk food. I didn't care anymore for cooking. I ordered takeout 3 to 4 times a week and ate fast food the other 3 or 4 times per week. Snacks in between because I never was satiated. And when I did my blood work during 2021, early summer, I stepped on the scale and it showed me I weighted in on 250 pounds. Mm-hmm. And that was the wake-up call I needed to I never had the intention of losing weight or fat in that regard. I always had the intention of becoming healthy and the best I could be. So I started cutting back on sugar as the first step. I had no idea of any YouTube channels that would talk about the topic of nutrition. So I would usually have some syrup with some water and basically triggering my insulin spikes every 10 minutes throughout the entirety of the day. So I cut that out, and this alone managed to remove my reflux. So I was on medication for reflux for 3 to 4 years, and that alleviated that entirely. And in January of this year, I was at 205 pounds. So a pretty big fat loss just from that alone. And the next steps were I found during COVID, I was searching for recipes on the internet, how I could buy stuff for £5 or €5 in my region to get through as many meals as possible, to live cheap, basically. Mm. And then I found, just by accident, Dr. Robert Lustig, and his talks about fructose and hacking of the American mind, and fast food, no, not Fast Food Nation, I believe it was someone else. And okay, cut out fructose. Then I found keto. I believe the first influences I found were Dr. Eric Berg and Dr. Stan Ekberg, mm-hmm. with the challenge what would happen if you would eat eggs for 30 days? What would happen if you would cut out sugar for 30 days? And I took that as a challenge because the points that were made sense in that regard. So I slowly eased into keto, and my meals basically contained of avocado, bacon, eggs, chicken, entire chicken, steaks, and some salads. Salads were the worst kind of thing. I remember I once did a broccoli and sprout salad. I had to drown that crap in butter and spices just to get more than one bite down. It was horrible. So okay, no more salads. Then I found what I would consider highest people in the carnivore community. Dr. Anthony Chaffee, Dr. Ken Berry, Paul Mason. I got some information from Jason Fung regarding fasting, but I never was a fan of that. And I believe I still have to lose some skin on my belly, but I think it will come off naturally. I'm young enough. I'm now metabolically healthy enough that if it takes 5 years, I'm fine with that. I have no reason to rush it. So, and actually the biggest impact on my journey came from you when I found your channel. I believe I binge watched around 400 videos of your channel within a week. I remember I started on Saturday or Sunday, and I just took the next week off from work, and I queued a playlist of 400 videos and took insight after insight after insight, note after note after note. And I loved that it made sense and that epidemiology wouldn't be tolerated on the vegan or vegetarian side, but you wouldn't use it as argument for your part of the story. So what most people do these days, if it fits your agenda, it's okay. No, you didn't do that, and that was the sell-off point basically. And yes, so my story is 8 months without sugar, then 3 months keto, then 5 months pure carnivore regarding nutrition. I slowly transitioned into ruminants because I needed variety at the start. And now I'm basically very close to the lion diet. I'm now at 160 pounds. So I lost a total of 90 pounds within a year.
Wow, incredible. Yeah. All right. So how tall are you?
I'm 183 centimeters.
All right. So
my
quite
BMI
tall.
range would be at 76 to 83 kilograms. And I'm, 68 to 83. And I'm currently at 74 kilos. So
right.
exactly
So smack in the middle of a healthy weight range, down from, well, basically 45 kilograms or 90 pounds overweight. When you began that journey way back then, did you ever imagine that you'd be brave enough to come on a YouTube channel like this and do an interview like this, or would that have been out of the question?
This was the most amazing factor. I was a vigilante from society because I was afraid of not even talking to people, or just the small talk you do at the cashier checkout on the grocery store would frighten me. I would have to mentally make myself ready to go shopping just for food every day. I would sit there for 10 to 30 minutes and just prepare myself mentally to go there. And the more I cut out the carbs, the seed oils, and all that crap, my mind cleared up, and I was flabbergasted how good people actually can feel. And at the current point, I feel robbed of half of my life. And I believe that we have to push this, not agenda, but way of eating and lifestyle as far and as strong as we can, because I believe everyone deserves that. Back then, I wouldn't even have guessed I could start a YouTube channel, upload a video with my face. I have to give credit to Pim Jensen for that, because what she did with Alex was a real push for me, and I took away from that. Yes, you will suck at the beginning. It shows your journey. You only can grow as a person, not if you try to ship around problems, but overcome them. You have to learn from experience, and every failure is a new experience. And no, even 3 or 4 months ago, I wouldn't have fathomed that I was able to do it, to do that. And within the last couple of weeks, I felt the need to interact with people. I stopped my gaming addiction. I have no interest in playing anymore, into escaping. I rather would spend my time writing scripts or criticizing the current vegan push-up or biotics or whatever, or go on a hike with friends. It's just such a relief for the mind.
Awesome, awesome. So on your YouTubes, are you mainly using Austrian language, or is it English, or is it a mixture of both? Because, I mean, one of the things you said to me before coming on here is you weren't sure that your English was good enough. Well, I think it is. I think we can all understand you pretty clearly.
Thank you very much. Yes, after, I believe, two days ago, your moderator, Bo, gave me a quick English lesson on how to pronounce things and get me used into the language, because normally Austrian and German people have a broad knowledge of the English language due to American sitcoms, streams, and whatnot, but we rarely speak it. So this is underdeveloped in most people. So I was kind of afraid that, of course, pushing into the anxiety issue again, that was very much resolved, but is still there. I mean, if you didn't do it before, of course, it will be pressure. Currently, I'm planning on splitting my channel into 3 parts, where one will be silent cooking. I still have to get a hold of the editing and the afterworks for just what I eat in a given day and how I prepare it and what I learned from that. And if it doesn't work out, there will be a blooper section. If something drops to the floor or gets burned or whatever, I'm curious about what will happen there. Mm-hmm. The main channels, or the main parts of the channel, will be one step mental stuff. So I talk about what I read, what I saw, what I tried myself to combat anxiety, and how to behave in social situations. And the biggest part will be pretty much that what you are doing, what Joe is doing. So for example, one of my last videos was I got a folder of recipes from my grocery store, and I go page through page and show why this is bad. I believe that the biggest surprise was the first meat-based recipe was on page 52. And such stuff is awesome because I get a good laugh out of it. And yeah, but it sadly will be mostly Austrian language. I hope the Germans can understand it as well, or the Swiss or the Dutch. But yeah, if you just want to tune in for what I eat, this will be silent with a layer of music.
Awesome. We will, of course, make sure that we link your YouTube video in the show notes under here so that folks can go and support that. Those are your orders, my Meat Militia. Whether you want to listen or not, go and subscribe to the channel immediately and leave comments in any language you like. It doesn't matter, actually. It's all about the algorithms. And share the videos out and help the channel to explode and grow. That's how it is in this community. We're here to help each other. So that will be really, really good. Also, I'm glad you mentioned Pim's fine, actually science-based channel. People should all go and subscribe to Pim's channel if you're not already. For goodness sake, if you're not already, she'll get pissy. And you know what happens when Pim gets pissy. I can tell you, it's not fun for boys and girls of any age, frankly. So make sure you keep Pim happy. Make sure you're subscribed over there as well. All right. From there, do you see any reason that you might want to quit this crazy carnivore diet and go back to eating junk and stuff? I mean, clearly by now you must have already died of scurvy, and you should be fully constipated by now, because they're the obvious things straight away. Tell us all about how terrible the carnivore diet's been for your health generally.
How many hours do you have?
Well, I mean, this is my last appointment today, so you know.
Yeah. So yes, of course, I didn't go to the toilet in the last 5 months.
Of course not. Mm.
This was something that actually scared me for a few days when I finished my transitioning over keto. I had loose bowel movements for 2 or 3 weeks, but I was expecting that at this point. What I didn't expect afterwards when I go carnivore, I didn't poop for 3.5 days, and I believe that's not normal. Am I constipated? Is there some kind of valve blocked or something? Will come out the other end, and then I was terrified by that. And after 3.5 to 4 days, it was a normal movement, and it was shocking how little matter there was.
Mm.
And yeah, it was soft. It was no problem. It was finished within a few seconds. Sorry for too much information.
That's fine. I did ask.
Scurvy, no. Apparently, I am still alive. Maybe the Grim Reaper didn't bring me my papers yet. Maybe he ate too much vegetables and dropped it dead.
Maybe.
So, satiety, I mainly eat 1 or twice a day now, and mostly first meal bacon or ham and eggs, second meal steak and eggs, and everything browned in butter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually motivated to cook now. So basically, when my body physically moves up and goes to the kitchen and starts cooking, I know I'm hungry enough to do that stuff. And I have a really good connection to my satiation signal now. I resolved my anxiety to a big degree, as you could have told by now. I had severe eczema on my right leg that healed pretty good, but I still have flare-ups, and I would believe that could be oxalate dumping or just a slow transition into a healthy lifestyle again.
Mm-hmm.
No more brain fog, no more goldfish brain. I can remember thoughts for longer than 3 seconds. I watched a channel of some psychiatrists talking about anxiety and why we are feeling so bad. And this was recommended from a friend of mine. I watched like 40 videos over the course of 2 days. And when we went on a hike this week, we talked about everything that I have learned. I wanted to push him, not push him, but show him what this diet or way of eating has done to me. And since he also is not that healthy, I thought I could ease into some topics and it might pique his interest. And I could clearly pinpoint accurately every part of every video that had some sort of topic that would address this issue. And after 30 remarks, he would say, it's amazing how you can remember all of that within such a short time. I have a problem with remembering if we went left or right on the way before. Mm. It's just extreme, yeah. I have no more tiredness after waking up. Before I would take 8 to 10 hours for sleep, problems, and still feel tired if I only miss 5 minutes. Now I can sleep for 3 to 7 hours, and no matter when I will be woken up, I still function properly 100% until my body decides circadian rhythm, and so when I should go to bed again the next night. So that's a real helping hand on home office, to be sharp in the morning and directly jump into conversations and talking to customers. I haven't been sick, no cold, no certain virus for the entirety of this journey. And I seem to have I have less sunburn during the summer. I have an urge to go outside and tank vitamin D. And I still went out the last couple of days where everyone was wearing long jeans and 4 layers of clothing. It was 10 to 15 degrees Celsius, and I was still in shorts and t-shirt, and I just feel refreshed and not cold. My skin isn't shivering. So yeah, I have yet to see something that actually will kill me.
Yeah, it's almost as if this might actually be good for people long term. I mean, all of those health benefits, a complete resolution, really, of what can be a quite disabling mental health problem. Yeah, I think it's a fantastic win, really. All right, so have you had anyone around you who's been really negative or has really had a go at you, or anyone you've had to really put straight on anything?
In that regard, I am happy to say that I don't have strict vegans or vegetarians in my close friends and family. One of my brothers is pescatarian for ethnical reasons.
Fine.
And yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah, basically, whenever we meet for a family dinner, let's say, okay, the meat goes to me and everything else goes to him. No, they were all pretty understanding because I could back everything up with facts and with my image. They knew how I looked before, and I constantly got remarks on, "Oh, you lost weight," and I never wanted to give the impression that it would be one extreme to the other. So I wanted them to know that I didn't plan on being anorexic or hating to eat anything. So whenever we had a meal, my mother was very caring for actually cooking on keto, just salad and meat and give the starch to the other people. And when I went carnivore, just to give me the meat, and I would add half a block of butter. My brother and her fiance would make big eyes and see, oh, that doesn't look healthy. You know, cholesterol though, and and saturated fat and stuff. And I believe that at some point they will come around and see he eats 2 to 3 pounds of meat every time we see, and he still didn't gain weight. Something might make sense what he's talking about. And when I went keto, my brother even gave me a keto book in our language, which I devoured within, again, 3 days. I am pretty hardcore if it comes to what I want to know, what I need to know, and what I value. This was something I didn't have before as well. So if I do something, it's 100% with heart and soul. And yeah, everyone was pretty understanding and supporting, and I just wait for them to come with the questions on what's the science behind it and how we were being lied to for 70 years.
Awesome. Well, I think we can conclude with some good news and some not bad news, but not so good news. The good news is you seem to me to be somewhere in your 20s, age-wise.
I'm 32.
Okay, so you look younger than you are. That's a good thing. 32 is a good age. You're in your prime. You look like you're in your 20s, so it's clearly working for you. The good news is that you should now have, the vast majority of your life as a healthy person. I had to wait until I was, I didn't have to wait. I waited until I was well into my 40s before I started on the carnivore lifestyle. If only I'd have known about this when I was the same age as Joey, for example, or someone like that, when I was 18 or whatever, or even younger than that, would have been great. All right, so the good news is that there's plenty of time now, and if people just get out of their own way, and live a blameless life, nutrition-wise and physical activity-wise and all of that kind of stuff, our genetic propensity is that we should live to around about 150. So that could well be something that people like you and I might be looking at. Obviously, I had 40 years of bad behaviour to overcome, so I might not quite get 150 years out of it, but there you go. The good news is you should get a lot of it. The not so good news is what you were saying before about when you start a YouTube channel and you suck at first. The bad news is that no matter how long you have a YouTube channel and how practiced you get and how polished you get, there are always going to be people who still think you suck. I get 1 or 2 people who comment to that effect on my channel. Believe it or not everybody in the world thinks I'm fucking great. I can't believe it.
Impossible.
I know.
Are they on drugs?
Well, they must be. They must be stoned, mustn't they? All of them. Yeah, crazy stuff. Okay, right, fantastic. I think we've covered that off. I think that we all need to take a bow and take our hats off to you. It does take a deal of courage to put yourself out there, to put yourself on camera, to be prepared to be vulnerable, for want of a better term. So we do thank you for your willingness to do it. It's a powerful story that you've told us. You have really come back from being the walking dead, frankly. And I don't want to understate how big a change there has clearly been in your health status associated with taking on this ridiculous, dangerous, contraindicated diet that's going to kill you. Somehow. We're still waiting to find out how that might be. But no, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it. Meat Militia, you have your orders. Go and sub to Austrian Carnivore's channel and binge watch his videos and make comments under them and share them around and do all those things that Al Gore loves for his rhythms. Let's make that channel grow, just like we're working together to make all of our channels grow, because if the community gets big enough and we share and cross-pollinate enough, we'll get so big as a community that no fucker will be able to actually silence us or put us all down or want to, because they'll go, oh shit, there's too much money involved here. There are too many people involved in this. We don't want to piss all of those people off. It's kind of a way of protecting ourselves from the fuckery, frankly, that some aspects of society might want to impose. Yeah. All right. So thank you very much. And since you're the guest, we'll leave you with the final statements, the concluding remarks. What do people need to go away from this discussion understanding? What do they need to know? All yours.
Take back your health. Cut out at least the seed oils and the sugars if you are still carb addicted or have some transition issues, but I believe seed oils are the worst thing you can take right now. And we shouldn't feel like that. We shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't be depressed, hating to stand up every day, go to work every day for 8 to 10 hours, and just repeat this vicious cycle. We should walk around like Vikings, like friggin' warriors. Take back your health. And thank you for the interview.
Brilliant. Thank you. Right, and next time, probably someone will be wrong on the interwebs because it doesn't look like slowing down. See you then.
Yeah.
And stop that one.